Hello.
Hello.
Hello all. Thank you for being back. We're here today with another very talented artist to explore the world of Eilen Itzel Mena.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and thank you for being my guest on Brave Podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you as well.
well.
I think today we're going to navigate different topics. We're going to go from talking about, your practice, your relationship between the different places that you've been and lived in, and we're very lucky to have you today in London, and also different topics around spirituality, joy, colour, and how painting is the medium that you've chosen to express all of those.
Amongst many other mediums.
Amongst many other mediums. Why are you in London today?
So I actually moved here in 2022 when I started MFA at the Slade.
Yeah.
And since I graduated last year, since then I've been here doing an artist residency with ACME.
Yeah.
So I just kind of been staying here longer
It's an
than I thought, but I like it.
Yeah, it's an artist residency, young careers program. Isn't
Yes.
it? What does that mean exactly?
So during graduation or our degree show, one of the awards was a residency with ACME for their early careers program. And it's an award that was given to other schools also. So Goldsmith, CSM, Slade, and another institution school in Latvia.
Okay.
So 4 of us are in the residency. We each come from those places. And I was the Slade student that was selected for it this year. So it entails a shared studio, field trips, like networking opportunities, mentoring, like studio visits, group visits, everything that I feel like a young artist would need as they're transitioning into the professional art world.
And a show at the end.
MFA,
as well.
yeah, and a show at the end, yes.
Yeah, that's great. Let's take it back to the beginning. Itzel, where were you born?
So I was actually born in the United States, but my family's from the Dominican Republic. And I lived in the Dominican Republic as a child, like an early child, a couple years in Jersey, but moved officially to New York City at like 10, 11 years old, and grew up in the South Bronx. I traveled so much, but my whole family still lives in the Bronx.
Okay.
And
Do you come from a big family?
yeah, I have like 5 younger siblings. I grew up with my brother, my sister, 3 cousins, my grandparents. So our apartment had a lot of people in it. And I feel like that's the smaller part of my family, because on my other side of my family, on my dad's side of the family, there's like, he's 1 of 10, and there's so many other people. So I just didn't grow up with them mostly, but the household I was in, it was still a lot of people. So I come from a big family.
Did you speak Spanish at home?
Yeah.
Was it quite a vibrant place? I'm thinking, I want to ask, was it colourful?
Oh yeah,
home?
My grandma was like, I feel like I grew up always going to like, before thrifting was cool, we always grew up going to like thrift stores and like, I mean, 1, it's a lot of kids, so like to spend money on everybody is a lot. Yeah. And then 2, my grandma just likes to collect things. So, and it's interesting because I was talking to someone about this the other day. When you're in a family of a lot of people, we all go in different directions when it comes to like our ways of being.
Yes.
So like I tend to mimic a lot of habits that my grandmother has.
Okay.
And I think because she's such a creative person and collected a lot of ornaments and things on the side. And then also in New York, like people would throw out like nice furniture. So my grandparents would like take it and like paint them and fix them. So before the DIY thing was happening, so
before thrifting,
before all of this stuff that's cute on TikTok, like they were doing.
The OG.
Yeah, so like.
What was her name?
Huh?
What was her name?
My grandma. She's alive. Her name is Maida.
Maida.
So I was just like grew up with like so many things in the house, and I feel like I was saying this about the big family because like I feel like I'm like that, whereas like I have siblings that are more like minimalist. Like they wouldn't have that many things in their house.
Yeah.
But I think because my grandma has a lot of things in her home, it's made me want to do that, but like in art making. Like it's made me want to make things. and make a lot of it and have like more of a maximalist aesthetic than a cleaner, like tight one. And even the way I paint and make art is really expressive, and I think that comes from just being around a house that had a lot of things in it, a lot of color.
Yeah.
And then also living in the Dominican Republic when I was younger and going back a lot for summers, like the houses on the street are really colorful. Yeah, it was like, it's a certain loudness that feels peaceful to me.
You also spent some time in Brazil, in Mexico, other Latin countries where the color is...
It thrives.
And it's just present everywhere. In your plates, in your streets, in the personalities of people. The food is so colorful. And then LA. LA is a big part of your story as well.
Yeah, because I went to undergrad in LA.
USC Roski.
Yeah, I went to USC Roski School of Fine Art.
Yeah.
So I have that like New York, LA thing going. My fiance's from LA too, so it's a place that I'm always going back to.
In your undergrad, you touched on sculpture,
graphic design, and
performance. And performance as well. When did you hold your first paintbrush?
I've been like making art since I was a kid. I feel like everybody holds a first paintbrush like very young, like 2, 3, I don't know, preschool.
Yeah.
So
Happy Mother's Day cards.
Yeah, like, or just playing. Like, you're always like, I feel like that was the first time I did, but I will say the first time I like held it in a different way, I guess, was like in high school. So I went to boarding school in Connecticut, and I went to the Hotchkiss School, and a big part of their teaching, especially in like their humanities program, which deals with like English, philosophy, history, you have to attach an art form to it. And I chose visual art because I've always done visual art, even before high school. And that was the first time that I was getting like formally trained in painting and drawing. So I guess I would say that I started painting and drawing formally in high school. But because I like was an art kid in high school, I was always in the studio, I tried a bunch of things out because at Hotchkiss, like, technique is so important. So we spent a few years doing that. But then when I was a senior and I had electives, I leaned into like printmaking and like architecture and 3D design. Wow. So when I was
That's
like,
incredible to be exposed that young to
these things.
To be able to play around.
I mean, it was helpful. And also like my mom was an architect in the Dominican Republic. So like, so for me, I'm like, I want to know what this feels like in school. And also she passed when I was young. So by the time I was in high school, she wasn't around. So I'm like, oh, I want to experience her through like the thing that she was doing. And I realized I don't like architecture as a profession for me. So when I went to USC, I was like, okay, I'm going to be open-minded, but I don't want to do painting and drawing in undergrad because I feel like it's just going to be a repeat of like the technical thing. And then
that you had done
already, especially
in high school.
And especially because when I was taking the intro drawing and paint classes, they felt a lot like the classes I was doing in high school. Yeah. And I found that the sculpture department, because at USC at the time, I don't know if it's still like this now, probably, but every incoming freshman had to take an intro to sculpture class, an intro to drawing and painting, and an intro to graphic design.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
the
like,
beauty of the American system.
You try them all.
First year, you just get exposed to so many different classes.
Yeah, and then after a while, you kind of move up the ranks of the one that you liked. And sculpture was my favorite because graphic design I kept doing a lot because I realized like this is a helpful skill to have.
Yeah, good if you want to make money, like. And
I didn't think about it then, but I'm glad I did it because I was like, I needed to do this. And I can use it for a lot of things beyond just making money, even like things for myself. But sculpture was the one department that allowed me to grow a lot conceptually because you can make an installation in sculpture. I could have performed in I could make objects for a performance in sculpture.
It takes things quite literally in a whole different dimension.
Yeah. So I kind of just left painting behind after the first year, and I was like, I'm going to do this. And then like I still was missing the architecture part. So I actually studied urban planning while I was in the art school. So it was really interesting because like at USC, like there's over 20 colleges, so every school has this different energy. It kind of feels like Harry Potter. But I like noticed that I would be in like, cause it's also in LA, it's really hot. Everybody's in like short shorts and like crop tops, at least in the art school, cause we're just like getting dirty or painting, whatever. So I would just catch myself like biking from the art school in like shorts, like Daisy Dukes literally, like, and like crop tops with my paint things. I mean, not paint, my art materials.
Yeah.
And then like I just make it to the like Soul Price School of Public Policy, and people are like just leaving a presentation in suits and stuff. So I'm like, it's just crazy. Like, I'm coming from the art side to the science science part.
Did you enjoy that?
I did, because I found that I really enjoyed the theory behind urban planning and like place and space making more than like actually designing the physical spaces that someone is in. Yeah. And I found that like I'm really interested in decorating or adding like a shift to the architectural design that's already there in a space, which is why I make art objects. But I like the theory behind urban planning. Like it's actually helped me be very spatially aware to understand why certain things were made, or even in a city like hostile architecture, for example. Like I'm like, oh, this is like, this object was made so like a houseless person can't sleep on it or something like that. So
have you visited the Barbican in London?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. I feel like I wasn't really into brutalist architecture until like this year. Yeah? I mean, more Mexico, because when I was like, I did a residency in Mexico City, and there's a lot of like brutalist architecture there. And
in the mountains.
Or even in like parts of Brazil. So I was like, I was like, especially in Mexico City, a lot of homes. So I was like, this is actually really nice. Like I like also the interior design. I was telling my partner this, like, I love brutalist architecture, but I like mid-century modern furniture in it. Whereas I don't really like mid-century modern homes, but I like mid-century modern furniture.
That's cool. I think it's also different to see brutalist architecture in an urban city like London versus sort of like an exotic, warmer climate.
Like
sort
Mexico.
Of, exactly.
Yeah, and I also found that...
Because then the gardens
that's
interact
what I'm saying,
totally
like, it's interesting seeing something so inorganic be full with like very organic things. Because I noticed like a lot of the houses I was seeing in Mexico City that were brutalist had so much plants, so many plants. And I think it's interesting because I feel like when I see brutalist spaces, especially homes, they're not, like there isn't a minimalist design structure going on interior design wise. So at least in like my favorite brutalist homes. So yeah, like I started noticing that when I was there.
As I'm listening to you, and then we're going to go back to the painting just for a second, but I'm wondering, have you ever seen where some of your work now lives?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've seen pictures, but like not really...
Like the home itself, maybe?
Yeah, some homes, but not all the homes,
It must be quite interesting to see the, different interior design styles, see what the whoever, purchased it, what they saw, how to make it work.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I've seen this a lot online, and I've also experienced it, because some collectors' homes I've been to before they even bought the work.
Okay.
So I've seen, like, what the work would look like in the home.
Okay.
And especially in New York, I find that, like, New York apartments are, like, so eclectic or, like, colorful.
Yeah.
Like, especially someone who, like, has lived in the city for a while, not, like, a newer person, transplant. So I find that, like, I really enjoy the work that people put surrounding my work.
Yeah.
Because a lot of collectors of mine say that my work brings them a lot of joy, and it's, like, one of the pieces that, like, they love to look at the most because it just makes them happy automatically, which is, like, the goal for me.
Nice.
So I tend to see, it's interesting seeing my work juxtaposed around work that has, like, different themes.
Yeah.
Or, like, be part of, like, I'm thinking of one person in particular where, like, my painting was just as loud and joyful as like the other works in the house too, which was like interesting to see it in like, it's like a cacophony of like
color,
happiness and color and expression. Yeah. So
because your work is there's movement. It's drawing to become more abstract, but it's incredibly colourful. So you came to London to do your MFA in painting. At
Slade.
Yeah. How has been the English education system?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah?
I think that something I've noticed a lot going to school here and just being here longer is that just as much as like the work is important and the making of the work is important, I feel like here I'm constantly thinking and talking about the making of the artist. Like, what does a practice need? What is a practice about? Why is this the practice? And that's something that I think about often. Like I'm finding myself more thinking about archiving, leaving things behind that are like remnants of how the practice came to be.
Is that in a physical form, or is that how do you define your archiving?
I think
for example?
I've been thinking about that a lot, and I feel weird filming myself making work. I'm not really comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like another eye is in the room when I need to just flow intuitively, and I get self-conscious about that.
Yeah.
So I went to the Jack Whitten show at MoMA recently, and he had a studio log where he was like writing down thoughts that would come up in the studio. And I like that form, like log, like bullet points. So it's like June 27th, and then
log
this happened this week, or like then it would skip to like November. And even though like a lot of time passed in between like certain months or like years, it was just like having a piece of paper that described the thoughts that were coming in the studio, written in his hand, felt like just like more raw than like for me than seeing a video. Because he's writing down something that's in his mind.
Yeah. He's actually expressing,
Yeah, it's another form of expression. It's like, it's the equivalent to me of like leaving a mark behind on a canvas, but he's leaving a thought behind on paper. And there's something so vulnerable with seeing someone's handwriting that it's made me think about, okay, I want to keep all my journals. I want to keep all my sketch. I mean, I do, but there's a time where like, through just traveling or like just moving around, I didn't keep everything, but then now I'm keeping everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna hoard my own thought process of the practice because I think it's important, and
That's great. You told me that joy is the reason that you're painting.
Yeah.
Can you express a little bit more of what you mean by that?
So, I'm an Isheshe Ifa practitioner, which is a Yoruba spiritual practice. It's a traditional spiritual practice. I've been doing Ifa for like almost 10 years or more.
How did you come across it?
So I actually like came across it when I met my fiance, because he grew up Candomblé, which is a African traditional spirituality in Brazil, and the gods and deities that they deal with are Orisha, which are connected to Yoruba culture and connected to Ifa practice. So he told me about Ifa, which is the more traditional expression of that, whereas Candomblé has hybrid like elements of like, in the Candomblé houses or in the spiritual practice in Brazil, there's elements of like indigenous like people from Brazil and Yoruba, Congo, Angola, Quechua tribes, like all in that spiritual practice, which is connected to the transatlantic slave trade and the development of that religion in Brazil. So he told me about Ifa because that's the root of an aspect of Candomblé, or like a lot of Candomblé. But I was aware of religions like this because I'm Caribbean, so like people know, like when you're from that part of the world in the diaspora, you know these other religions exist that are connected to that part of your ancestry.
Yeah.
So he told me about it when I was at USC. I think I was like 21. It was like 10 years ago, and I started practicing it. I went in for like an Ifa reading, and I just been practicing Ifa ever since. And it's a tradition that like really focuses a lot on your relationship to your ori, which is like your head and your consciousness, and then also the environment. We're environmentalists, like we love nature, because we use it a lot in our practice, and your ancestors. But a big part of the reason why people practice Ifa is this idea that you're here to fulfill your destiny, or like, so a lot of like rituals or rites of passages are connected to this idea of like fulfilling your destiny. And the understanding of destiny in the Ifa context is like, it's interesting because I've thought a lot about what it feels like to practice Ifa under this like Eurocentric like spiritual system, because it's not Abrahamic, and it's an indigenous practice, and then how destiny is a part of it and purpose, juxtaposing it to like this American like idea of manifest destiny and imperialism and etc. So what I like about this search for destiny and purpose is that it's connected to something very deeply spiritual and very personal, because unlike certain religions in the world, there are a lot of overlap. Like a lot of people do the same rituals in Ifa and like the same like practices, but everyone's experience of it is so individual because everybody's destiny is different, and our destinies work together.
And how do you get to understanding or finding your destiny?
Yeah, so there's this, this stuff you can find online, because some things we keep to ourselves, but there's this rites of passage called Shefa, which is like where you receive your hand of Ifa, which is like an Ifa shrine that you receive in the home that you pray with. And in this ritual, you find out things about your destiny and your purpose. And something that came up for me was my destiny came in Ayo, which means joy. And at that moment in time when I was doing the ritual, and my Babala was saying, yeah, like you came here to find joy. And I thought a lot about what that means for me, personally, ancestrally, professionally, like in every aspect of my life. And I wanted something in my life to hold me accountable to that. So in Ifa, for example, when somebody's born, they'll do this ritual called Asentaye. So it's like a reading or a rites of passage that comes for a child that's born into the world, and based on your destiny, you get named something connected to it. So, for example, I don't know, like someone whose destiny might be to find joy or to bring joy to others, their name might be Fumilayo. So I wasn't born into the tradition. So I was trying to think of ways that I would hold myself accountable to the search for joy. And it was like my art practice, because it brings me a lot of joy, and I can resolve a lot of things that make it hard for me to find it through the making of work.
Yeah.
And also I was thinking a lot about this idea of how, because of colonialism and transatlantic slave trade and slavery, a lot of Black and brown people's destinies were put on hold. And how I feel like that's something so incredibly violent spiritually, because so many things that could have happened haven't been able to take place. Yeah. And I feel like there's like negative karmic repercussions for that. So I think a lot about like this political act of like me following my destiny, me searching for joy in these ways, because that's attached to me particularly, and me leaving aspects of that behind for others to find it, while also not over romanticizing joy and making it a thing that's like, oh, it's cute, like it's so complex.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you been challenged on your practice being rooted around joy?
In that way?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yours is,
I actually haven't been challenged, and I think that's because I create work from a very authentic place, and I feel like when you're authentic and vulnerable, it can't like be flat. Like it can't. Like there's so many layers to it. So I haven't really been challenged, unless someone got a challenge, like for me with it. But I haven't been challenged directly saying that something's like that. The joy is monotone.
Good.
Like, because I try so hard to not making it be.
Yeah.
And I think that it's hard to see it when like I paint so expressively, and like the way I make marks is so more complex, so much more complex than just like a glob of something beautiful that's yellow and looks cute. Like it's like not possible for me, I don't think. I also don't think I'm like a ray of sunshine either, so like all the time, so I don't think that that's gonna show up.
Are there moments where, I'm just thinking the dead of winter, when everything's grey, having to go to the studio, you're tired, it's dark outside, having to touch on those topics, joy is infused in so many moments of our lives.
Yeah.
Where did you even start? You were talking about yourself and like what it meant for you, but then you were talking about when we talked previously, like even joy, finding joy through grief, finding joy through connection, finding joy through redefining an identity, finding joy through expression, essentially. How do you navigate that topic that you now know, and you have it has chosen you and you have chosen it, right?
Yeah, I think something I've noticed when I'm like painting in a like a space where I'm not like the happiest is that I'll go into the studio, or after like a week of maybe having a bad day or something, or like even in a bad day, and this is where like abstraction has really like helped me. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna paint, so I'm just gonna choose color intuitively and go at it. And then I like make so many things, because it takes me a while to like conjure up the energy that I need to make art. But once I do, I'm like, I feel like I'm like a factory. I can like make so many paintings. Once I've carried whatever I needed to energetically to take it there, and I'll look at all these paintings, and then I realize I'm like, how can you ever doubt yourself or feel bad about anything when like you made something so beautiful? Because I actually look at my work like it is something beautiful. Like I would buy my own work. So it brings me joy to know that I can like see the joy inside of me that was able to make that.
It's so powerful to be able to say that.
Yeah, and I
love hearing that.
I feel like my next challenge is to see it not when I'm making art, like within myself. Because I have moments of that, but I don't see it all all the time.
Yes. But that's the intrinsic thing of joy. It's here and it's not here. And you were talking about, I have a belief of creativity being a sum of so many things. And this is what we're trying to discuss is the DNA of it. But it's time, it's space, it's inspiration. You were talking about energy there. How do you conjure up all of that to be able to do and keep it flowing? Like you say, there are days you go to the, perhaps routine is actually one of your techniques, but you go to the studio one day and it's not a good day, and yet you have to create.
I think it's
how do you manage it?
I've thought about this a lot for the last 6 months, and I'm in love with creativity. And when you're in love with something, someone, you don't give up on it, even if you're having a bad day. So I was reading like Bell Hooks, like All About Love, which is like, it's so crazy because it's like everybody read that book, but she defines love as something that you're committed to the betterment of. And I feel like that about art. Like I feel like that about my practice, and I thought about it because I really stand by that definition, because that's how I love my friends and my partner and my family, and people. And I realized I'm like, I treat art the way I do when others that I love. So I'm not gonna like not talk to a friend because I'm having a bad day. I'm not gonna like not love my partner because I'm mad a little bit.
You're not gonna give up on it.
I'm not gonna give up on it. So I don't give up on art for that reason. And it made me emotional to think about it, because I'm like, you're in love with this. Like you're like, your experience being in love with a non-human thing. And it's not like a pet or like a plant or like, it's like
but is it a relationship with yourself?
Yeah.
Because it's your space.
It is my space, and it's something that I'm able to do, that I like have the skill set to do.
Yeah.
But I think more so like beyond me, like it's like the love of the craft, the love of the career path that I'm taking, the love of like, even though things are hard, like when things get difficult with art for me, whether it's art making or professional things or financial things, like etc., it feels like I'm like, I got into an argument with my partner today. Like, it feels like that. And I'm like, but I'm going to get over that shit and we're going to be good tomorrow. Like, it feels like that. And it's hard for me not to do it. And, like, I haven't really experienced, and I hope I don't, I'm knocking on wood because it's something that I don't ever experience really, is, like, creative blocks. And I think that's where, like, drawing and painting have really saved me because... especially abstraction, because I'm like, how could you have a block when all you gotta do is make a mark? Like, you know, like the block, I would have to be extremely depressed to not want to make a mark on a piece of paper or canvas, because I have a lot of creative ideas that are not only a painting, like I make sculptures and installations, and like I have a graphic design and social practice, but I've never like allowed myself to have a creative block because I could always like go back to the primordial state of creation for all of us, which is like you're a little kid and you got a crayon, like make a mark. Yeah. So I always go back to the mark making. Yeah. And sometimes it's an abstract drawing, or other times it's like figures, like words. Yeah. So like, I'm just in love with it.
And so much so that you can really tell it in your work, but it's also part of, Honey and Smoke.
Yeah.
You're transmitting. Yeah. The love of creativity. Mm-hmm. So can you introduce it a little bit?
Yeah. So Honey and Smoke is a social practice shared by myself and Riva Santos, another artist, multidisciplinary artist in LA. She actually started it a while ago, but the iteration of what it is today, like we've came up with together. So it's a platform where...
So you joined on?
Yeah, like I joined on, and then once I joined on, we created what it is now. So, but the foundation of it, like it was hers, her initial idea. So, but since like 2018, we've kind of been like working at it together. Mm-hmm. And it's a place for artists to meditate on the important themes of our time. So the way we do that is we do a lot of graphic design, interactive experiences, artwork in different mediums, community building, placemaking, etc. So usually the way we work is we have a theme that we think the world should think about, or something that's related to like the times, because we're key about like making time specific art where it's like we are discussing the things that are going on right now. So for example, in 2021, like when we were still in quarantine, we chose our theme to be nomadic, which is like this idea of like movement. And we thought it would be ironic to think about being a nomad when nobody can leave their houses.
At a time as everybody's being sedentary,
because when you can't move is when you think about movement more. So that was like our theme. So we had a bunch of ways of breaking down that creatively. So one of the ones we had was the events we had was we partnered with an astrologer named Jasmine, who we had like a workshop where she taught other creatives online how to use astrocartography, which is the astrology of maps, to fulfill their creative desires in different parts of the world. So like if you're trying to find a way to grow creatively, how does your astrology let you know that like maybe in this random town in Florida, like it might be like a place where like energetically you can thrive creatively? Because we were trying to debunk this idea of it having to be New York or like London or Paris or LA or Miami, which is ironic because
it is.
Me and Riva are from New York and LA. I'm telling y'all, we didn't do that to be whatever.
That's where you're from. That's where you're from.
Those places.
That's where you're from.
So we just wanted to debunk this because we wanted people to think more locally, and know that like their creative purposes and futures could be in different places that they didn't think about. Yeah. So she was like, in the event, she was telling people how to read the astrocartography map and what that means for you in different transits of your life astrologically. And then Reba and I designed a workbook like that's supposed to be like a journal entry and like a mapping of like movement that you want for yourself that went along with her astrocartography workshop. So then it ended up being like this joint activity event that we traveled, but we did it astrologically. And we talked about the themes of nomadism, and then I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah.
I'm with you.
And then like we like as creative designers, we just designed a worksheet that will like lead you there. So that's an example of something we did. That same season, we also held a artist residency online where we had like artists from 7 countries, like, and we were they were all making art connected to the theme of nomadic.
Okay.
And we taught them like the honey and smoke method, which is like the way that River and I like work. It's like a creative methodology. If we were like, it's kind of like our research way of how to make art. So we taught them how to do it, and then they made art with it, and then everybody made art about nomadic. So then now we ended up with like 7 artists making work around the theme because we wanted people to talk about it. So that's another part of my art practice, is more like community based, and it's a social practice. So the output of it isn't necessarily going to be a painting or a drawing or installation or sculpture.
That people can take with them.
Yeah, the taking is a communal experience.
Sharing.
So yeah, I have so many creative ideas, and I feel like painting is not enough, but I'm glad that Honey and Smoke exists because it contains the other parts of my practice, and it's done with someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how do you, your creative energy that you're talking about, how do you nurture it? How do you care for it?
Yeah, I think right now I'm finding new ways to do it, but in general, I have so many interests, and I love being friends with non-artists. Like, I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, if all my friends were artists, I feel like all my friends would be my coworkers. Like, I couldn't do it because I just like, I'm such a Renaissance person in my head. Like, I love math, science, like history, languages, art, music. So I've kind of nourished it by partaking in different, like consuming different mediums. Like,
so what your inspiration is multiple.
Yeah,
so
it's multiple. I take it in. So I kind of nurture it by not sticking only into one lane and like being like, okay, like I know that I want to make work surrounding joy and transformation and ancestry. So now I'm like listening to like Tina Knowles' like matriarch, like her memoir or something like that. So, and it brings me a lot of joy, but it has nothing to do with art. Like she's not, you know, like it's just like her memoir is teaching me something that I can bring to my practice. So I like I said, it takes a lot for me to understand something emotionally before I take it to the realm of art making. So I nourish that by like just existing and like traveling and like talking to a lot of people that are different. Like a lot of my closest friends don't even pick up a paintbrush. Nice. They're just really smart. I feel like if you're an intellectual person and whatever thing that you are in and you're critical, then that's going to inspire me. Like,
and your energy when it comes to, you know, your physical energy, how do you maintain that as well? That's something I'm learning to do now because I'm just like, I feel like I'm outputting a lot right now, and I want to like lately consume like I want to consume more than output. But I also, as in you're producing a lot. Yeah, I'm producing a lot. Are you producing to a goal? I'm just like to produce. But yeah, they are goals, but I like I need to rest sometimes. So I'd never done this before until this year, but now if I'm making a painting and I'm getting frustrated or overwhelmed, I force myself not to go to the studio. Like 2 days is good. I need a third to just sit. So I'm forcing myself to kind of stay in more. I'm trying to sleep more. Yeah, I think I'm now in a place where like you're at a creative high right now, so you need to like balance it. Okay. 'Cause I was talking to someone about this, like creative energy is so powerful and is really draining. Because once you do it, it's like, it's different than like working out in the sense where like you can work out really intensely and your muscles will be like sore, like, you know? Yeah. And then, you know, like I need to rest. Creative energy is like more because it wants to multiply itself. But then it's hard to stop it. But then you're really tired, so then it's hard for you to like work out even or sleep fully. So I've had to learn. I'm learning now because I finally understood. I'm like, why am I so fucking tired? But I have so many creative ideas. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And then I realized it's like, because
you're outputting something that's multiplying and multiplying and multiplying itself energetically.
Do you also feel the pressure of having to do something with the ideas that you get?
I feel like I don't feel the pressure, but I feel like it's like a...
Or like responsibility.
It's not, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like, it's like when you like craving. It feels like a craving. Like it doesn't feel pressure. It feels like, oh my God, I want something sweet right now. Like, and I need to get it. Or like, yeah, or like a hunger. Like, I don't know. I use food language a lot because when I'm done painting, I feel like I tasted something sweet. So like, it feels like that. So yeah, it's more like I'm learning now how to balance the like rest part of making art, because I feel like it'll allow me to like feel more things when I'm like well slept or like but yeah.
And what's your relationship? Well, how do you structure yourself throughout the week, if at all?
Yeah.
And what does the studio represent to you? Is that a place that you seem to be going to a lot?
Yeah, so I have like phases with the studio where like sometimes I'm there all the time. I know that my limit's always 5-6 hours.
Okay.
Because if I go beyond that, the paintings are gonna start like looking weird, and I don't want that.
There is such a thing as too much.
Yeah. So usually in a week, I always give myself one day to be an admin day.
Okay.
And then I'll go to the studio as much as I can. I notice I don't do like, if I'm in a flow where I'm making things, I don't do, especially paintings, I don't do like 3 days back to back. I'll do 2 days back to back, a break, come back, and then do it again. Like I never do like more than 3-day streaks. And then I also, but if I'm making a sculpture or a part of an installation, because I stitch sometimes and like sew, then I rather just like take that home and like watch TV and just like be sewing.
Is that part of your work?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So it depends on what medium I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because with painting is very particular. Like I'm like, I can't do this for more than 2 days. I can't do more than 5 hours. Like if it's a graphic design thing, I could go for hours.
So
like,
are you quite planned throughout your week?
No, I'm very intuitive.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just know that like you got nothing to do today. You're going into the studio. Like, or like you cannot go to the studio because there's a lot of emails you got to answer right now, or like things that you have to work on that you have to finish. Also, like I dedicate 1 day a week to Honey and Smoke, so yeah, there's work that has to be done for that too. Yeah. Because we're working on something right now that I'm finishing. So, yeah.
You've traveled a lot. I mean, obviously grew up in the Bronx, moved to LA, studied there, did some residencies in Mexico, Brazil, went to London.
Not in Brazil, but like I lived in Brazil.
You lived in Brazil?
Yeah.
Went to London, back to LA, back there. You're moving all the time. How do you ensure that you make a studio a space that corresponds to you, that looks like you?
Yeah, I feel like when I was in Mexico, that was the first time that like I had to tap into that. Okay. Because in the other places that you mentioned, I'll do longer stints, but Mexico was quick. Like that was like 6 weeks. Then I was like, I'm just gonna continue an idea that I already was doing. But I noticed that like being in a new environment changed like my relationship to color and like composition, because I'm like, I'm in Mexico, so I'm like, I'm seeing color combinations I don't really see in London.
But practically speaking, the space itself, when you enter it, you know, it's not your, I mean, it's yours, but it was maybe someone else's before. Are there things that you put into place? The light must be also different from what you had before. Yeah. Like, are there, if at all, are there elements that you put in? Music?
I really don't, because I feel like because I've traveled so much, I've had to really rely on like my spirit being home and like myself being home. So I've had to be like, your home is Mexico now. Like, so this is you. So I kind of like pull a lot from within to do that. And I'm
you're like a minimalist traveler with maximalist output.
Because it's kind of like I love art the way like I love my man. I'm not gonna not love my man when I'm in Mexico. Like, you know, it's like
it's still
we're on vacation. Like that's kind of how I view the practice. Yeah. So it's home is me, and the work is coming with me. So I don't really do anything
outside.
If anything, I need to make sure my emotional self is fine. Like I remember, like before I went to Mexico, I was talking to one of my tutors at Slade, like the late Andrew Stahl, and I was telling him, I'm like, because I was making paintings about love, and I was telling him, I was like, I have all these ideas for when I'm in Mexico, and I feel like I need to resolve a lot of these things while I'm there, and then maybe like 2 weeks in, because it was 6 weeks, maybe by the second week, the emotional things that I'm working through with the work, like I'll like be good with, and then I'll start a flow. And then he was like, do it before you leave. Like, he was like, just do it before you leave, so when you're there, you could just tackle it, because why are you waiting to like regulate yourself with the work before you even like, I mean, while you're there, like just regulate it now, have the conversation with the work now. So when you're there, you can just interact with it. I feel like I'm talking about my paintings like it's like my boyfriend. Like, and it does feel like that the more I'm having this conversation with you, because it's like, we're going on vacation and I'm not trying to beef with you while we're there. So let's have this conversation right now.
Yeah.
So I think that I just have an internal conversation with the work. So wherever I'm at. So then like, I don't need to like bring anything but myself. I feel like art for me is a place for me to be the most authentic. Like, I don't have to like dress it up in any way. I don't have to like set up anything for it to be comfortable.
And similarly to a relationship.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's what you want to do, you know, make yourself vulnerable. And that's where you go deeper, and that's where you sort of, you know, expand
peel back layers.
Yeah, exactly, to new layers. Itzel, you were mentioning the residencies that you've done. Can you tell us how you come about them?
Yeah.
And what you look to get from a residency?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm very organized. So I'd be looking for residencies online. There's so many databases.
Okay.
But then, in particular, like Mexico in particular, for example. So I did a residency in Mexico City called Casa Lu. And I did it in the spring break of my first year at Slade.
Okay.
Which is like, I did a
During
lot that
your
year.
MFA,
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a lot that year. It was like school and then like Mexico and then like back to school. And I feel like that year, and then I remember like that summer, because I went in the spring, and then that summer I went to Brazil to the biennial, like the Sao Paulo biennial. And I wanted that year to throw myself into like the Latin American art world, because I found this interesting thing where like, okay, I'm American, I'm Dominican, I went to school in the United States, I went to school in a place that like I'm connected to because I was born in America. It's part of my history and my legacy.
But then you're reconnecting as well to
to the Latin American part.
American,
I wanted to do it more in particular because being a Dominican in New York, it's like DR part 2. Like, there's so many Dominicans in New York. We're the largest immigrant group. So being in New York, I'm like, okay, I'm in a major city. My people are here. There's a very Latin place. And then I remember when I went to school in LA, I was like, this feels different. I'm in a Latin city, but I'm not Central or South American. I'm Caribbean.
Yeah.
So then, fast forward, I go to grad school in London. I'm like, I'm in a Caribbean city, but they don't speak Spanish. So it's like English Caribbean. So then when I was in grad school, I was like, I'm going to do if I have time to travel while I'm here, it's just crazy because everybody's like, you're closer to Europe, go to Europe. And I'm like, no, I need to go to Mexico. I need to go to Brazil. I need to go to like the places in Latin America that have an art world, that have an art market, that can teach me about myself and the legacy that my work is connected to.
Yeah.
So I was looking for something in Mexico. Like I actually was like, I want to go to Mexico City and experience making artwork there and be supported by a space. So I found Casa Lu. And
how did you find the art market in Latin America versus maybe even the UK and the US?
Yeah, so like I was thinking about this because I think a lot about New York and LA, for example, where like I'm from New York, but I came of age as an artist in LA because I did my undergrad in LA, and I was like learning about womanhood because I was like from 19 to 22 or something. So I noticed that in New York, a lot of like the history of art making for me and like the art world there was so connected to community and like conceptual art and just like a history of like mastery. And then like LA for me felt very joyful and fantastical, where there is community, there are legends that come out of LA, but I feel like everybody exists in their own lane, in the sense that, and the positive side of that is you get to make art for yourself, because LA is a place that you can be in and out. Like, you can be outside or not. Like, you can go to events or you could just be in the mountains. So I noticed that. So then I was thinking about now the art world in Latin America, like in the way people make art. I found that, particularly in Brazil, a lot of emphasis was put on ancestry and colonial history. And I noticed in Mexico, there was so much energy tied to like spirituality and land and like nature and emotions in a way that I saw across the board, like in museums and galleries, like and then even Brazil, I saw it in the biennial, especially because I mean the biennial has art from all over the world, but that was a through line that I saw in Brazilian artists. And then I feel like when I was in school in London, there was so much energy put into like formal aspects or like history of art making and like art history, because we're like closer to Europe, and like the practice, like the artists who made the work. So I'm like keeping tabs on like what different places bring me, and I just like the Latin American art world for me. I'm like, it makes so much sense because I've been making Latin American work in English, like. So for me, I was like, they're talking about the thing like me. Also because I speak Portuguese and Spanish, I just wanted to speak about my work in those languages and like challenge myself to like switch my brain from like colloquial like Spanish to like art world Spanish. So like in Brazil, I got the catalog for the biennial in Portuguese, and like Mexico, I kept describing my work in Spanish to people. And like just immersing myself in that.
Would you see yourself living there?
In Brazil for sure. Like nice. I like Mexico. But I just have a soft spot for Brazil. Like I studied abroad there. My fiance's family is from there. Yeah, it's just beautiful, especially like Bahia, which is like the north of Brazil. It feels like really tropical. Like actually Salvador, Bahia, Brazil to me feels like a combination of New Orleans and Miami. Okay. Like it's just winning combo. Yeah. So, and it has a place. It's a place with a lot of colonial history because it was like had the most slaves in the transatlantic slave trade. So like it's a place that's very rooted in African ancestry. People would like say Yoruba slang, even the food they eat there. Like, so it's something that I'm really connected to, and also the spirituality of Bahia, like they have Orisha murals, like, so I'm like, this is so connected to Ifa. Like I just feel like very grounded there spiritually. So I would definitely live in Brazil for sure. Like,
is that something? Is it a natural plan? Is that something we can wish for you?
Yeah, for sure. Like, wish that for me. I feel like me and my partner would say this, like, when we buy our first home, it's not going to be in the United States. Like, it'll probably be in DR or Brazil. Okay. Yeah.
Fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for taking the time, for being here. I wanted to ask you one last question. How is it that you would define creativity for you? We've talked about it a lot. I think it's...
Creativity for me is... I actually wrote this down a while ago. I feel like creativity is a reimagining of your own reality. It's taking what you know and like flipping it, like consistently. That's how I would define creativity, especially art making. Like, that's what artists do. That's a faculty in our brain. We just like exactly reimagine... Right. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's how I would describe it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.